about Revelations, you know what I'm saying? Revelations 12. You know what I mean?
At birth, I was given the name.
Peace. Here we go. Another day from the desk of Apocalypse, Dogs and Guys Entertainment, with a quick word of reflection. We're excited. We are in this season of walking the road to recovery. 9 steps in motion. We have gone. This is episode number 5 for the 5th step. Again, this is an introductory stage and phase of the podcast where we're getting into the steps. We're laying them out. We're putting some information in the heads of those who are paying attention, who are participating, so that we can run through this and so we can get deeper into it as we go along. Now, I'm going to make this as quick as I can because the 5th step is the longest step and is a very crucial, foundational step that kind of brings everything together for the next steps ahead. So, make the decision. We've made the decision. Find the love, you know what I mean? That true love, that force and power love, that creative force where all things are created from. Rationally, mathematically, beyond emotion type love. You understand what I'm saying? And then, so we out with the old. The person that we have become as a result of our addiction and this self-affliction, right? You gotta go. You know what I mean? In with the new. So, born again, newborn baby. We nurturing this new person, this new man, this new woman, whoever is paying attention. We nurturing this new person, growing, developing, and becoming who we really are so that we can really fulfill the reason why we're here on this planet. So, now, the 5th step, process the data. Very, very, very crucial step, because this step deals with the who, what, when, where, why of one's self, so that we can determine how. Okay, what are you talking about? I would say it like this. This is my personal conjecture. Every human being on the planet has unresolved conflict internally that we deal with on a daily, consistent basis that affects the way we function in life. You know what I mean? So it's very, very important to be able to determine who I really am versus who I have become as a result of being born in a world of sin and shaped in iniquity. So this step helps us to go back. Now, we have to be careful with going back. See, just as we were able, by the grace of God, to recall this information that we have in this book, we were able to do it. Why? And how? And what is the purpose of it? So we had to go back and grab the information, but then we have to process it so that it can lay on the time track without a whole lot of energy. You know what I mean? The purpose of the data is to be able to use it to further our existence and to help others do the same. Not to go back. You know, you remember in class, in school, where you had an assigned seat? You know what I mean? This is your assigned seat, right? So we don't want to go back to that seat, that pity pot, that seat of pity The pity pot of self-pity that keep us stuck, keep us emotionally involved, keep us down. No, 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 no. We're going back for the data so that we can process it and lay it out. In this sense, it's just like basic math. If I had an ink pen and I laid it on a table, right, and I put a plus sign beside it, now I know that means add. If I know the basic math, that means add. And then I put another pen on the other side of the plus sign, right? Then I put an equal sign. So the equal sign is the result, right? So that's real simple. I can put on the other side, because I understand the basics of adding and subtracting. I could put on the other side of that equal sign a 2, right? Really, without any energy, without any emotions, with just rationally, just mathematically thinking it through. 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? Now, if somebody wants to come because they missed that part of the class and say, no, brother, it's 3, or nah, man, it's 10. Look, hey, I don't have to get involved. I don't even have to engage. I really don't even have to process that, because I know that person is confused, right? So anyway, the point is, we want to be able to go get this information so that we can clearly determine what it is that the God of our understanding wanted us to see about ourselves as a result of this. So whether it was something that happened externally that affected me, or whether it's something that happened that I did within my own mind that affected me, that caused me to stumble or what have you, all of it is data to process so that I can determine the use of it and how it's going to get me further and how it's going to get me closer to my own purpose, my own divine existence, right? So that's it. Process the data. Process the data. Who, what, when, where, why, how. All right? So there you have it. I'm going to stop right there and we're going to let Brother Hashim take us further. Oh, listen. Hey, if you're in Chicago, we have the foodie spot, 7350 South Stony Island Avenue. Come on over and get you some good food, man, if you're in Chicago. And right now, we're going to cut ourselves off and we're going to make way for our brother Hashim Hakeem. Go ahead and take it to the next phase, my brother. Peace.
Step 5. Process the data. We started out this journey by making a decision. Then we realized that it was necessary to find the love. This newfound love led us to the step of cleaning house. Out with the old you to bring in the new you. In these 4 steps, there is a lot of data to process. There are a lot of new discoveries that require more of your attention, the more our minds become clear. This entire process is bringing us face to face with ourselves. To get the most out of this journey, the 5 W's must be explored. Who, what, when, where, and why. The knowledge in the 5 W's walk us into how to move forward in the right direction. In each section of this step, we will start with a drill to put you in the mirror of truth. The objective is to go into the depths of your life in the past, present, and future tense. These drills do not have to be limited to the questions that are present. They are simply to get you to start to move into the depths of your own thinking. Let us explore these questions to get a clear picture of your thoughts to lead into a deeper look at who. Drill number 1, who? Answer these questions with the thought of imagining your life in the past, present, and future. Past. Number 1, who introduced you to drugs? Number 2, who were they to you? Number 3, who were some of the people you looked up to at that time in your life? Present. Number 4, who are the 5 people in your life the most? Number 5, who of these 5 people have accomplishments in their lives that matches what you desire for your life? Number 6, who do you admire at this stage in your life? Future. Number 7. Who are the 5 people that have obtained the level of greatness you desire? Number 8, who do you know that can get you to the level of greatness that you desire? Who? There's a difference between who we are and who we've become. Think about it. We are born into this world, we live. Then, at some point, we expire. From what I understand, our flesh is made up of the material of the earth. This material is not alive without the breath, mind, and life force that's housed within. When we come into this world, we enter a place that we have not witnessed before. With this understanding, we begin learning from inside out. There is life in us, and there is life outside of us. The journey begins. Everything that we see, hear, experience, and are taught becomes data, our frame of reference. This is all that we have to base life on. Process the data. Who are you? There's so much information to consider when this question is asked. This writing is not designed to go in depth with this question. Rather, it is an attempt to encourage the reader to go as deep as you can within yourself to explore the question. Who are you? Typically, people define who they are based on what they do with the life that has been given to them. However, who might only have 3 letters, but it is a much bigger word. Who, in one sense, is used to question a person's character, position, or authority. Who is also defined as what or which person or people. This definition speaks to the point earlier stated that who we are is different from who we have become. In reality, oftentimes, who we are is more so who we have become as a result of circumstances and a lack of knowledge of our true selves. We will dig much deeper into this subject as we move through these steps. As for now, consider the fact that a deep study of this word is an endless journey on the road of self-discovery. We will find and redefine who we are all the way through life, as it is a never-ending walk towards our destiny. Think of it as playing a part in a movie. Here's the script. Now, your role in this script is a drug addict. You study the script so that you can play your role to perfection. The reality is that you are not really a drug addict. You just have a role to play in this movie. Unfortunately, because of poor decisions, we end up playing these types of roles in real life. This is what we mean by the fact that there's a difference between who we are versus who we've become. Because in your and my essence is the reality of the God of creation. But we were born in a world of sin and shaped in iniquity. Drill number 2. What? This next drill is designed to help you to process the data towards becoming the new person that we talked about in the previous steps. As you grow, things will change in your life. This process is different for each individual who takes these steps. Also, keep in mind that the more you grow, the more some of these answers will evolve with you. Let's explore these questions to get a clear picture of your thoughts to lead into the deeper look at what. Answer these questions to get a clear picture of yourself at a very crucial time in your life's journey. The past. Number 1, what was the first drug that you used? Number 2, what was the reason you used it? Number 3, what was the effect it had on you? Number 4, what was your living condition at the time? Number 5, what stage were you in? Were you a child, a teenager, or an adult? Present, what's your age now? What's your living condition now? Future. Number 8, what would you like your living condition to be? Number 9, what are you willing to do to get there? This process will help you see what happened to you. It helps you to recall what condition you were in when you were introduced to that which you became addicted to. It's always good to know the past in order to not repeat the mistakes of the past. What? What, by definition, is asking for information specifying something. What? The more we explore who we are in our current situation, the more this word what becomes significant. Again, this is an attempt to chart out the course that I have been blessed to take in my walk to recovery. However, It is also my attempt to get the reader on the path of no return towards success. Once I began to discover who I am, I had to look at what took place to get me to who I had become, a drug addict. It is very important to be true with yourself in order to get through this step. What you put in the computer is all that it has to work with to get out of it what you desire. So, face what it is that has gotten you to this place that you desire to overcome. The mind will process the lie and the truth and give you the results. So, you might as well be truthful. The mirror of truth is the best place for changes, analysis, awareness, and judgment. I had to ask, what are you looking at in the mirror? Be honest. Someone who abuses drugs. Are you pleased with what you see? Absolutely not. What would you like to see? So, ask yourself these questions and be truthful and affirm your desire. When I got to this point in my journey, the answer to what I would like to see was a strong man, free and clear of drug abuse, moving on with my life to become a responsible man. What are you aware of that needs to change? Write it down and face it head on. My environment had to change. The type of company I kept had to change. I had to feed my mind positive information through reading and watching inspirational programs, just to name a few. Are you able to look at what you see in the mirror without having to lower your gaze? The answer to this question for me was no, and that is something else that had to change. What you are versus what you have become is worthy of deep study. Using myself as an example, it was very necessary to realize what happened to get me to this point. Ultimately, I made a choice to use drugs. As a result, I'm putting myself in danger and destroying my health. What are the possibilities? This will eventually kill me sooner than it would if I was not in this condition. These are a few points of reference to begin your fact-finding mission on what got you to this place in your life. While you are exploring what took place, it will naturally lead you to when things started to go wrong. Let's explore these questions to get a clear picture of your thoughts to lead into a deeper look at when. Drill number 3, when. Answer these questions to explore your thinking to be able to further nurture the process of becoming a new person. The past. Number 1, when did you get comfortable with getting high? Number 2, when did you first realize that you had a problem? Present. Number 3, when did you decide that you needed help? Number 4, when did you honestly begin to seek help? Number 5, when did you start the process to make a change? Future. Number 6, when the change is manifest, you will know it. This drill is designed to give us a true account on when things went wrong. It's also designed to help get to the root of the problem by facing the mirror of truth. We have to be honest with ourselves and know that we have problems. In fact, when it gets down to it, we ultimately are the problem that must be solved. When? When? This word is so powerful because it can get us to the root cause of our problems. When means at what time. When means at or during the time. When gets you to the bottom of your situation. Reverend Wilson would teach that if a tree is in your way and you chop it down to the surface, it will one day be in your way again. Why? You have to go all the way down to the root to really get that tree out of the way once and for all. When for me was at 10 years old. This is when I first got introduced to smoking marijuana. I didn't know the significance of what was happening in my life at that time, but it's a great point of reference to begin exploring that time and the conditions of the time. There's so much to consider. A couple of points to note are that we came up in a single-parent home. My brother and I were raised by our mother. She did the best she could with what she had. She spent a lot of time working to keep food on the table. Not only that, furthering her education so that she could make more money to take care of her children gave us a lot of time to ourselves as children. She also spent a lot of time in church praying in hopes that God would intervene and pick up the slack on her behalf where she may have fallen short. Her hard-headed sons would constantly make her late for service because we really didn't want to go in the first place. So at a certain point, she got tired of wrestling with us every time she got ready to go to church. So she began to start leaving us at home. Needless to say, this gave us more time to ourselves to explore any and all possibilities that were presented to us to cut the fool. So you have two young boys who are very energetic and adventurous. We have a lot of idle time on our hands, and they say curiosity killed the cat. And our curiosity was well intact for the cat. You dig? There's a lot of information to process in this part of the journey. And main discovery here is that there is little to no logic reasoning in the mind of a 10-year-old. Not only that, a 10-year-old typically is not thinking about any long-term effect on anything happening in their life as a child. Extract as much information as you can to get to the root cause of your situation. The more you study who and what, it will take you past the surface of your problem and get you into the root of when and where things went wrong. The next big word we will look at here is where. Before we get into the next drill, remember that the key step to this is to do the best you can to gain a thorough knowledge of yourself and the reality of your journey. We do not get a chance to go back and change anything. Always keep in mind that this step is meant for data processing. Everything that happens in our life has meaning. Every situation, good or bad, can assist us in life at this very moment. The key is to learn something from every aspect of the life that we are living. There is so much wealth that can be extracted from your life story if you pay attention to the details. The steps in this book are just that, extractions from my life through drug addiction. And because I have shared my story so many times in so many different ways, it was just a matter of time that these principles would eventually be laid out to help others along the way. Let's explore these questions to get a clear picture of your thoughts to lead into a deeper look at where. Drill number 4, where? Answer these questions to study your mental state of condition. The mind is where you find the power to change. Wherever your mind tells you to go, that's exactly where you're going. The past. Number 1. Where were you physically when you took your first hit? Number 2. Where were you mentally when you took your first hit? Present. Number 3. Where did it lead you? Number 4. Where are you physically and mentally now? The future. Number 5. Where would you like to be in life? This drill is designed not just to recall the space and time of your first hit. However, where were you physically and what was your mental state? Compare this with your physical and mental state today to see if there's a difference. Knowing where the addiction led to physically and mentally is very important because it puts you in touch with your condition in real time. We also desire that this drill helps to instill in you a clear picture of where you would like this walk to recovery to take you. Know where you would like to be on the other side of drug abuse and claiming. Where? Where means in or to what place or position. Where also means the place or situation. Where? Where are you today? Where are you going? What we discover in this study of self helps us to walk ourselves through the data that must be processed to help determine why we are in this place called drug abuse. Where were you when you took your first hit? This is a good time for a story. My cousin Mo, who was 9 years old, came over for the weekend. Mo, my brother Junior, and I were 10 years old. 10 me, Junior 11. We were home alone. Mo pulled out a plastic sandwich bag and said, "What I got?" Me and Junior replied, "What is that?" He said, "I don't know, but Daddy be rolling up and smoking it." This is where our journey began. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know where we were headed, but this is real life. This is where our introduction to our way of life that had a lot of hills, mountains, pitfalls, and stumbling blocks began. Study that time in your life when you took your first hit. Paint a clear picture of the conditions in your life at that time. This will help you to understand a lot about yourself then, to make the connection on how it affects your current state of condition. For instance, as I approached the point where change was inevitable, I was very irresponsible and idle. Yet, I was very energetic and curious to explore adventurously into the unknown depths of low life. So, explore where things are with you. Not the way you want things to be, or where you think you should be. Face the reality of your current state of condition. This is going to help you as you reflect on where it all got started. Because the information from then up to now will play a big part in helping you understand why you are in this position. I say this because when I began to go through this process, I realized that my decision-making at 20 years old wasn't too different from my decision-making at 10 years old. Being under the influence of drugs that long can really have that kind of effect on the mind. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. At this point, it is time to answer a crucial question. Why? Drill number 5. Why? This drill is designed to build logic reasoning in the mind. The mind is so powerful that once it is made up, there is no stopping you to accomplish what you desire. And the mind is definitely created to think right. So, if your desire is to be right, feeding your mind with logic reasoning is a necessary exercise to develop that process. Note that if your reason is not strong and penetrating, then you're not ready. So spend time with these questions and make your answer to questions 3, 4, and 5 so strong that the thought of going against them will keep you up at night. Let's explore these questions to get a clear picture of your thoughts to lead into a deeper look at why. Answer these questions to reason with yourself. Also, answer these questions to exercise your mind towards the right way of thinking, the past. Number 1, why do you get high? Number 2, why do you like getting high? Present. Number 3, why is it necessary for you to stop getting high? Number 4, why do you want to stop abusing drugs? Number 5, why do you want to stop using drugs? Future. Results. The future is now. Why? Why? Why is the cause, reason, or purpose for which? Why do we act the way we do? Why are we in the position we are in? Why should we even want to know why? Everything in creation has a purpose. Every cause has an effect. When a human begins to look deep into their lives, there is so much information to process. Who, what, when, where, and why is the pathway to reconnect with the source of life. It's the process of breaking the connection with that which hinders our way of thinking into a higher level of consciousness. There are so many things that can weigh down on humanity in this dog-eat-dog world, especially those who have gotten caught up in drug addiction. In the walk towards recovery, it is very necessary to feed the mind with positivity. The more I ask why, the more purpose opened up to me. I see more clear today the purpose of my addiction. This book is a big reason I had to go through that aspect of my life. I had no idea then that this would be the case. However, the recall of all of the information that's in this book is clear evidence that my big why in life was housed in this seemingly dark and dreadful aspect of my life. Why did we smoke that weed? First of all, Mo saw my Uncle Big Jr. smoke. His curiosity caused him to sneak some out of his father's stash and bring it to our place on one of his regular weekend visits. Now, when we used to go over to stay with them, my uncle was cool. He used to hang out with the fellas in the neighborhood while we were running around playing outside. Unc was our strength. He was the man in our life. He taught us many great life lessons. So, if it was all right for him, it must be all right for us. This is what we meant earlier about a little boy's logic. It's not that this is a conversation that we had. It's just how it all processed in my little mind as I look back. Although we knew instinctively that what we were doing was wrong, the mind is justifying the act because my uncle is cool. He's chilling with the homies in the neighborhood, and He's teaching us great lessons in life, so this can't do us too much harm, right? Wrong. Well, what's wrong? Something is wrong with the thinking. If we think wrong, the next step is automatically to do wrong. So once we learn to think right, then naturally we can do right. Having the intelligence to ask why is a necessary component in understanding the purpose of a thing. A true, honest look at these 5 W's will help you chart out your course as to how you are going to win this battle. Drill number 6, how? This drill is designed to exercise the power of the mind to imagine what you desire your condition to be and act as if it has already taken place. In doing so, the thought is to realize how it actually feels to achieve what you desire. Then walk it down day by day and step by step to reach the goal. Let's explore these questions to get a clear picture of your thoughts to lead into a deeper look at how. Answer these questions to feed your mind with the uncompromising truth that will set you free. Present and future is the focus. The past is history. Number 1, how do you feel being honest about your current situation? Number 2, how will you feed your desire to get on a course with these steps to recovery? Number 3, how will you set yourself up to stay on course with these steps? Number 4, how, in your imagination, does it feel to be free and clean from drug addiction for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years? Close your eyes and go there in meditation for a minute. The power is made up in the mind. The power is in what we accept. The power is in the decision. The power is in the love. How? As you wholeheartedly process who, what, when, where, and why in the mirror of truth, the method by which to help yourself up and out of your condition will unfold before your very eyes. How means in what way or manner, by what means. In the data processing period, know and understand that nothing happens without purpose. And any and everything is designed to make you the person you are to become to fulfill a great purpose. Had I not gone through my experience with drugs, I would not be able to write this material. The way a drug addict is judged, you would never expect much good coming from them. In fact, the way an addict judges themselves is so detrimental that it becomes hard to believe there could be any great purpose for their lives. So this work is a lift for the mind of the addict to never count yourself out of being a valuable asset to humanity. Everything that happens in our lives is designed to teach us more of ourselves, to prepare us for a life of fulfillment. We are not always happy with what we have to face in life. However, the more we learn through the trials of life and even through triumph, the better we become as human beings. We endure through patience. The study of who, what, when, where, and why, as laid out in this step, speaks to how the whole project was produced. These 9 steps in motion were developed through the analysis of the 5 W's of my own journey. Who, what, when, where, and why is comparable to man, know thyself. It is the acceptance of the truth of self that helps to establish the principles and the method by which to guide self to the destination of our desire. And if we desire greatness, then how we get there is based on a thorough knowledge of self. So, through this process, you know who you are, and now you can compare that with who you have become. You have a better idea of what to do and what not to do. You know when it's the old you casting suggestions, and you have the choice to respond or dismiss. You know where to go and where to stay from, based on what you have discovered in this self-study. You know why good decision-making is very important, and there is nothing wrong with thinking things through to allow the feelings and emotions to drift away, so that you can make rational decisions. All of this lays the foundation of how to stay on track to continue to feed this new person that you are destined to become. Let's take a closer look. In all of the information that you have to gather in this step of your study of who, what, when, where, and why, you have a clear picture of where you are and how you got there. And if you're reading this book for the sake of recovery, you know your desire to be clean. Now, in your everyday dealings, you are more conscious of who and what you allow in your atmosphere. You also have a better idea of when and where to go and where to stay from. And when you find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people present, it becomes clear why you must dismiss yourself immediately. So, this step should help to keep your antennas up. The focus now is to do something great with this precious gift of life. The new you can begin to take charge of your steps towards greatness the more you nurture and develop that person who is destined to grow in and through your efforts to be great. The reference points in the how-to is found in the details of who, what, when, where, and why. Surah 71, Ayat 13 reads, "What is the matter with you that you hope not for greatness from Allah? You are in the fight of your life. Don't give up." Let's continue.